This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris, and this is the first of a two-part episode on how to make profiteroles. Profiteroles are a wonderful little cream puff that you fill with ice cream and put a little chocolate sauce on top. In this first episode, I'm going to be making these great little cream puffs. Now, before we start making the batter for our cream puffs, we have to get some of our equipment situated first. So the first one is get a baking sheet with a piece of parchment on it. That's what we're going to put our little cream puffs on to bake. Then the next thing you have to decide is how do you want to make your little profiterole circles. Now there's two ways you can do it. One is you can take the dough and just take a spoonful of it and scrape it onto your sheet. That's one way. The other way, which I'm going to use today, is to use a cake decorating bag and a large tip. Now you can see this is just an open circle, almost like a hose nozzle, and I'm going to prepare my bag for that. So I'm going to open my bag, put the tip in, and I'm going to snip off the end and make sure that that tip fits in and it's just barely peeking out the end. Like that. That's perfect. Then I'll take my pastry bag and I'll cuff it down like a boot, like this, and open it up. And now it's ready to put my cream puff pastry in when I'm ready. Now for this dough, we're actually going to cook it in a saucepan. So to start, you want to put in a half a cup of water, a half a cup of whole milk. Now in most of my recipes, I don't really care what kind of milk you use, but for this recipe, I do like to use whole milk. So I'm going to add a half a cup of that. Then I have a half a cup of butter, and I'm going to cut that into some cubes just to help it melt a little quicker. Then I'm going to put in a pinch of sugar, a pinch of salt. I'm going to grab my wooden spoon and I'm going to head over to the stove. Now I brought this over to the stove. I have this on a medium-high heat and I need to bring this to a boil. Now while you're waiting for your mixture to come to boil, measure out 1 cup of flour and just let it sit here on the side of the stove. Now as you can see, our mixture has come to a boil. I'm going to pour this whole thing of flour in. I'm going to immediately turn my heat down to medium-low and I'm going to start stirring this. And what I'm looking to do is bring that flour and liquid together like this. Now, what I'm looking to have happen is I want a little bit of a light crust to start forming on the bottom of the pan. And that takes just a minute or so. And you can start to see that little crust down there. Now I'm going to put my timer on for 2 minutes and I'm going to keep stirring this for 2 more minutes. So it's been 2 minutes and I'm going to immediately take my dough and I'm going to put it into a medium-sized bowl that I have over here to the side. Then I've got my hand mixer and I have 5 eggs that I have into a small bowl. Now I'm going to take the eggs and one at a time, I'm going to put it into the bowl and I'm going to use the mixer to mix it up. Now you can see at the beginning this doesn't look like it's coming together at all, but don't worry, it will. And then my last egg. And usually it's with this last egg where the dough starts really coming together. See how that's smoothing out? That looks perfect. Now it's time to get our pastry into our pastry bag. So I'm going to take a nice Spoonful of that. Now it's cooled down enough so it's not going to burn us or anything. That's one of the reasons I transfer it into that second bowl, is that it helps it cool down a lot quicker. Now, when you go to pipe, or even when you're putting your little blobs, if you're using the spoons, the parchment tends to want to move a little bit. So one of the things I do is I just pipe a teeny bit of the dough underneath the parchment, and it helps it stick. Just like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold my bag up straight, and I'm going to pipe in a circle about the size of a ping pong ball, about that size. And now these are going to double in size. So I want to make sure and leave some room. And you'll see I'm just kind of making a swirl. And it looks like I'm going to get a dozen here. But before I put these in the oven, you see these little points? I don't want those because they will burn. So I just have a little bowl of water. I'm going to put my finger in it, and I'm just going to press that down flat. So these look ready to go in the oven. Now I have the oven preheated to 375 degrees, and these are going to bake from between 15 to 20 minutes. 18 minutes is what these took, and this is the kind of color I'm looking for. I want to immediately get them off the baking sheet, and now instead of leaving them like this, I'm going to take these and turn them upside down to let them cool. And then I'm going to put another batch in the oven. Well, our little cream puffs have turned out just great. And in our next episode, I'm going to show you how to fill them, and we're going to make a delicious chocolate sauce to put on top. Now, if you want to get a recipe for the whole project, just go to our website and visit the Sweet World show notes, and I'll have it there for you. And as always, if you have any questions, please send me an email. I'll see you next time.